Right, hi everyone, so I'm Mike. So tonight I'm just going to really show you a few quick fire kind of tips, what you can do with your WordPress website, a bit of tidying up stuff. This is really quite basic stuff, so there's nothing complicated here, but just kind of reminders, little things you can actually do that you maybe don't get around to, or you just forget, or you leave it for another day. So about me, so I run Primary Image. That's in Essex. I'm in London kind of half the week as well. And you can follow me on Twitter. Don't look at my website though, because it's crap and I haven't got much updated it yet. I'll do it another day with that, hopefully. So, 2016, Happy New Year! Maybe a bit late doing that. So, people say at the start of the year, have a bit of a spring clean with your website, with your house, with all that kind of stuff. But spring, when does it start, when does it end, I can never quite remember, and it lasts a whole 3 months, and you always leave it to the last minute and never get around to doing that kind of stuff. So, January, I think is a really good time really to have a good look at your website and just do those kind of things, a bit of housekeeping on your website. So, the first thing, I told you this is really basic kind of stuff. With the auto updates now with WordPress, it is really easy now to get stuck onto an old version. And also the security patches are being released for the old versions too, so there's not so much of an incentive to upgrade. I'm guilty of that myself. A lot of websites that I see are on 4.1, 4.2. I'm seeing a graph recently of the uptake, but there are a lot of websites now in older versions. It's not to say they're not secure, because they are, but you're not getting the benefit of the new features being released there. Also, reach out to your clients. You may have launched a website for a client a few months ago. If you don't actively maintain that website for them, this could be an opportunity to go out, reach out to them and say, how are you getting on? I see you haven't upgraded WordPress. So you can use that as a business opportunity as well, really. So 4.4.1 is the latest release. Can I quick show of hands who's running that? So pretty much everyone. Just me and I'm probably not. And don't forget your plugins too. That's some really, really important security patches released in the autumn as well. So just, again, reach out. Your own website may be absolutely perfect. Maybe have a look at a few of your clients, see what they're doing with their website. Also, as well as plugins, this isn't for everyone, but if you know people that want maybe a premium theme, often they have patches released for them as well, updates for them. I'm thinking Vada or stuff like that, where it's released every single week when they have new versions of that, but it's actually some really good important features in there as well. The other thing, it's a new year, which means a new WordPress theme. So hopefully you know it, but with updated WordPress, you then got the new 2016 theme. That was auto-installed. Hey, who's using 2016? So with WordPress, I always keep one default theme installed. It's good to roll back, to have a really basic theme to roll back for debugging and for testing purposes. But I don't know if you ever looked into a client website and you see a whole museum of WordPress themes going back a whole decade of different themes, especially that beautiful 2013. I mean, who could miss that one there? So have a look again. Do you need that theme there? Maybe just have a look in the themes folder. Again, maybe not so much of your website. If you're taking over websites, have a look in that folder. So yeah, 2015. Right, number 4, copyright. 2015. No, this isn't 2015. It's 2016, of course. So this is a really basic thing. Legally, you don't necessarily need to have the year and the copyright. You don't even need to have the copyright. You're there as the owner. But a true story. This was just after Christmas, and I was looking to buy a new camera, and I found this beautifully designed website, and I thought, I'm going to buy a new camera from this website. Now look at the bottom there, right in there, right at the bottom. 2012. I thought, this doesn't look right. Oh, in 2012, that was the London Olympics, and of course, Boris got stuck up a zip file. That's ages ago. So why haven't they done anything with their website since then? So this website, whilst legally you have to update the copyright, it just looks really bad. It's quite a bad impression. Now, I said a lot of websites still in 2015. I haven't quite checked my website yet actually, but hopefully it's been updated. But it just shows, if you update the year, it just shows your website's being loved. If people have old years, it just shows they've neglected their website perhaps a bit, or this website is quite old. So it's just one of those nice things to do, nice housekeeping things to do. You can do the super duper way, just put a bit of PHP in your footer file, or you can do it the manual way as well. It's pretty easy to do. It takes like a few seconds to do. So that's just a quick thing. Do make sure your server time is correct if you use that method, because I have seen websites that have been copyright 1970 before, which doesn't feel quite right. Another thing, so optimizing your database, and this is something that people don't always do. This is particularly for people that are maybe having just their own basic website. Now WordPress keeps the old revisions of pages, which I really think is a great idea. I use it all the time. I think it's a great idea, so I wouldn't disable it. But it can really go well. And this was a website that somebody asked me to look at the other day. Notice I use an admin as a username, which is a bad idea. Don't do it. But you can see their database was full of post revisions there. Now, this is a plugin that I use quite often. There's lots of other plugins out there. This is a really good one that I tend to use. Now, I actually run this last night. I wasn't brave enough to do a live example tonight, so I ran this last night. It's one of my client websites, and they've got 2,000, just over 2,000 news items on there in their database. And just running the optimization on there, it's saving about 10 megs straight away. Running this module has saved a huge amount of space in there as well. So it's just little things like that. It's really good just to keep things optimized. And even on quite a small website, you can actually still get a fairly decent saving. On a similar subject, when did you last check the speed of your websites? Maybe you added another plugin and you hadn't quite realised what it's doing in the background. Maybe your client added a 20 megapixel picture to the homepage. You haven't noticed it's loading there. So just running a really simple speed check. There's 3 tools that I use here. And the top one, Pingdom, is probably the most basic, but really good as a quick test. Down to the third one there is a really, really good tool, and it's got so much technical stuff that one can do. So if you just run your websites through there, have a little look at those. And this is Pingdom. I'm sure most of you have seen this already, but just gives you a quick waterfall of how your website, how it's loading, where there's bottlenecks, and that kind of thing. WebPay, the third one on the list, this gives you some really good stuff about how the page is rendering, and you can take snapshots of that. SEO, I know Keith did a talk on this in October. It's a really big area, and obviously I'm not going to cover this here, but if SEO is important to you, just think, when did you last actually check your positions in Google? And just to check, is there anything better you can be doing? Did a competitor quickly leap over you during the winter or something? Loads of tools online. There's even WordPress plugins that will actually check your positions for you. Another thing, again, it's a really basic thing, but doing link scans. So checking, have you got any dead links on your website? It's good for visitors, good for SEO, and it's one of those things that you probably never get around to doing. So just checking maybe those old news items, are they still linked to the right place? There's quite a few tools that will do that. This is one that I sometimes use. There's desktop programs you can get as well. So lots of different tools out there. And the other thing, your content. So whether the purpose of your website has changed, has your audience changed a bit? Are you focusing on some new things? Have your business goals changed? So it can be an opportunity just to have a quick look at your homepage, look at some of your key landing pages and see, are they still fit for purpose? And also look at perhaps the most popular pages in your website as well. So if one of your news items is getting a lot of traffic, that could be a good sign to actually write something similar to that as well. So time for a refresh. And finally, a nice happy subject to finish on, but disaster recovery. As a backups aren't really about backups, they're about how easy it is to restore and get your data back. it's really important to check your backups are being taken correctly. And I logged into a client website, or someone came to me a few weeks ago, and they said they had their backups being taken, but actually their backups were, every single one was corrupted. They hadn't checked. They'd run a plugin that was taking backups on a database, every single one. They had 100 backups, every single one was corrupted. So have a little look, just check, these backups, whilst you might have a plugin that's doing that, just to actually double check it's working properly. And the other thing is, well, don't back up in your hosted back. You just see other people doing this as well with a plugin, and for some reason, if websites get hacked or everything gets wiped off, the server virus hits it, your backups on the server are vulnerable as well. So just make sure you've got a really robust solution. Otherwise, you can have a day like him. So that's just a quick summary, basic stuff, but it's often the chance just to have have a look at your website. Is everything still up to date? Is your content up to date? Just give it a quick check. And that's it. Thank you.
We've got just a couple of minutes if you want. Have you got any questions?
Yes.
I've been looking at backup solutions. Have you got a particular one that you think's worth looking at?
Right, there's so actually the server setup that we've got for our clients, we actually it's within the data center. It goes basically one server to another server, so it's not a solution that we use kind of off the shelf. There's definitely quite a few WordPress plugins. I think Automatic do their own service as well. There was one called, I think it's My Repono or something like that. If you Google it, I'll find out. It's not just for WordPress websites, but I found the cost of it was very cost effective, and they held it in Amazon on the cloud there. But there are lots of plugins. I don't really think one is better than the other. There's different solutions that will suit different people. But the thing is, just make sure they're really robust. They're taken off the server, and as long as they're being taken fully as well. But plenty of solutions out there. It just depends on your budget and everything else as well.
Human Made do one called, was it Backup WordPress or something like that? That's quite good.
Okay.
You can do one now, but you can schedule a regular, and it does files as well as database.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mike.